Welcome to VOXLY English. Let's get started.
Hello, English learners, and welcome back to VOXLY English, the podcast where English is slow, simple, and real. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Liam. We're so happy you're here with us today. Today's episode is one of our most requested topics ever. We received hundreds of messages from you asking about this subject. You said things like,
I want to think in English, but my brain always goes back to my language.
when I speak, I translate every word first. It's so slow and frustrating.
I understand English when I read, but in my head, I still think in my native language.
So today, we're going to talk about exactly that, how to think in English.
This is going to be a very long and very deep episode. We're going to tell you stories, give you examples, explain the science, and share many practical exercises you can use every single day.
Think of this episode like a complete mini course. You can listen to it many times, you can pause it, you can practice with us, and most importantly, you can change your brain by the end.
And remember, as you listen, try to think in English with us. Don't worry about understanding every single word. Focus on the general meaning. Repeat sentences out loud when you can, and enjoy the journey.
Let's begin.
Let's start with a very simple but very important question. Liam, why is thinking in English such a powerful skill?
That's a great question, Sophia, and the answer is actually very logical. Let me explain what happens in the brain of a typical language learner.
Okay, I'm listening.
When you don't think in English, you have this very slow and complicated process happening in your head. It goes like this. Step 1. You hear something in English. Step 2. Your brain translates those words into your native language. Step 3. You understand the meaning in your native language. Step 4. You think of your response or answer in your native language. Step 5. You try to translate your response back into English. Step 6. You finally speak.
Wow, that's 6 steps just to say one sentence.
Exactly. And that's why so many learners feel exhausted after speaking English for just a few minutes. Their brain is doing double the work. It's like running 2 programs at the same time on an old computer. Everything becomes slow and difficult.
I've felt that exhaustion myself when I was learning other languages. Your brain feels like it's overheating.
Yes, exactly. And that's why many learners say things like, I understand everything, but I can't speak fast. My brain freezes when I try to talk. I know the words, but they don't come out quickly. I feel so slow compared to native speakers.
These are all symptoms of the translation problem.
Right. But here's the good news. When you learn to think directly in English, the process becomes much, much simpler. It goes like this. Step 1, you hear English. Step 2, your brain understands the English directly. Step 3, you think of your answer in English. Step 4, you speak.
That's only 4 steps, and actually steps 2 and 3 often happen almost at the same time.
Exactly. So instead of 6 slow steps with translation, you have a fast, direct connection. 1 road instead of 2 roads.
And I imagine this makes a huge difference in real conversations.
It makes an enormous difference. When you think in English, you can respond faster in conversations, feel more confident when speaking, use more natural expressions and phrases, understand native speakers more easily, stop the mental exhaustion, and actually enjoy speaking English.
That last one is important. When speaking English becomes enjoyable instead of stressful, you want to practice more. And when you practice more, you improve faster.
It's a positive cycle. Thinking in English leads to faster speaking leads to more confidence leads to more practice, and more practice leads to better English.
But there's another benefit that many people don't talk about. What's that?
When you think in English, you don't just learn the language, you start to feel the language. English becomes part of your everyday mental life. It's not just something in a textbook or a classroom, it's a living part of how you experience the world.
That's beautiful, Sophia, and it's absolutely true. When I finally started thinking in English, I stopped treating English like a school subject. I started treating it like a natural tool for experiencing life.
It's like the difference between knowing about swimming and actually swimming. You can read books about swimming, you can watch videos about swimming, but until you get in the water and feel it, you don't really know swimming.
Perfect analogy. Thinking in English is like getting in the water. You're not just studying the language anymore, you're living inside it. Liam, I think it would help our listeners if you told us about your own experience with this problem. How did you learn to think in English?
I'd be happy to share my story, Sophia, but I have to warn you, it's not a story of instant success. It took me years to understand what I was doing wrong.
That's okay. Real stories are better than perfect stories.
Okay, let me take you back to when I was first learning English. I was a teenager and I was completely stuck in what I now call translation prison.
Translation prison. That's a powerful name.
It felt like a prison. Every time I tried to speak English, my brain went through this painful process. First, I would hear the English words, then I would translate them into my language in my head, then I would understand the meaning in my language, then I would think of what I wanted to say in my language, then I would try to translate my thoughts back into English, and finally I would try to speak.
But by the time I finished all those steps, the conversation had usually moved on. The moment was gone. I was always too slow.
That sounds really frustrating. It was incredibly frustrating. I remember one time in particular that really showed me how serious this problem was.
Tell us about it.
Okay, I was about 17 years old. I was in a cafe in my city and a tourist approached me. He was clearly from an English-speaking country and he looked a little lost. He walked up to me and said, very politely, "Excuse me, is there a bank near here?" Now, this was a simple question. I knew all the words, I understood what he was asking, but my brain went into translation mode immediately.
What happened?
Well, first I translated his question into my language, then I thought about the answer in my language. Yes, there was a bank about 2 streets away. Then I started trying to translate my answer back into English. But while I was doing all this mental work, the tourist was just standing there, waiting, looking at me with this confused expression.
5 seconds passed, then 10 seconds. I could feel my face getting red. I could feel the pressure building.
Oh no, I can imagine that feeling. Finally, I managed to say something like, yes, bank, there, go straight, then left, maybe. The tourist smiled politely, thanked me, and walked away. But I felt terrible, not because my words were grammatically wrong, although they were, but because my brain had been so painfully slow.
So, did that experience change anything for you?
At the time, no. I just felt embarrassed and defeated. I thought maybe I was just naturally slow at languages. Maybe some people could learn English easily, but I wasn't one of them.
That's a common feeling among language learners.
Yes, and it's a trap, because the problem wasn't my intelligence or my natural ability. The problem was my method. I was trying to use 2 languages at the same time for every single thought.
Like trying to drive 2 cars at once.
Exactly. You can't drive 2 cars at the same time. You'll crash. And that's basically what my brain was doing, crashing every time I tried to speak English.
So, what changed for you? How did you escape the translation prison?
It happened slowly, over several years, but the turning point came when I started spending more time with English input, listening and reading, without translating.
Tell us more about that.
I started listening to English podcasts and audiobooks. At first, I didn't understand everything, maybe only 60 or 70%, but I forced myself not to pause and translate every word. I just kept listening.
That must have been uncomfortable at first.
Very uncomfortable. My brain wanted to translate. It felt like an addiction. But slowly, something started to change. After a few months of this practice, I noticed that some English phrases were staying in my head as English. I wasn't translating them anymore. They were just there.
Can you give an example?
Sure, a phrase like, "What do you think?" I used to translate that into my language every time I heard it. But after months of listening to English naturally, I just understood it directly. What do you think? Meaning and all, in English.
So the translation step was disappearing.
Exactly. And once I realized that was happening, I started doing it intentionally. I started training myself to think in English on purpose.
What did that training look like?
I'll share all the techniques later in this episode, but the basic idea was I created more moments in my day where English was the only language in my head. No translation allowed. At first, these moments were very short, maybe just 30 seconds or a minute, but they grew longer and longer as I practiced.
And eventually, thinking in English became natural?
Eventually, yes. Today, I can think in English for hours without any translation. I can dream in English. I can even feel emotions in English. But it took years of practice, and I want our listeners to know that it's a gradual process. You won't wake up one day and suddenly think in English perfectly. It builds slowly, piece by piece.
That's really encouraging, Liam. Thank you for sharing your story.
Of course, I hope it helps our listeners understand that they're not alone in this struggle. And more importantly, I hope it shows them that change is absolutely possible.
Before we can fix the translation habit, we need to understand it deeply. Why is translating in your head such a strong habit? And why is it so hard to break?
These are excellent questions, Sophia. Let's explore them carefully. First, we need to understand that translation is actually natural at the beginning of language learning. It's not a mistake. It's a necessary first step.
What do you mean?
Well, when you first learn a foreign language, you need some way to connect new words to meanings you already understand. And the easiest way to do that is through your native language. So when you learn that dog means word in your language, you're building a bridge. You're connecting the new English word to a meaning you already know.
That makes sense. You need a starting point.
Exactly. And this bridge is useful in the beginning. It helps you build vocabulary quickly. It helps you understand basic sentences. It gives you a foundation.
So translation isn't bad?
Translation isn't bad at the beginning. The problem is when you stay on the bridge forever.
I love that image. The bridge is for crossing, not for living on.
Exactly. The bridge is supposed to help you get to the other side, which is thinking directly in English. But if you stay on the bridge forever, you never arrive.
Why do so many learners stay on the bridge?
There are several reasons. Let me go through them. Reason number one, school systems often reinforce translation. In many schools around the world, English is taught through translation. The teacher says, "What is the translation of this word? Translate this sentence into your language. Read the English text and write a summary in your language."
So students learn that English equals translation exercise.
Right. Their brains are trained from a young age to always connect English to their native language. It becomes automatic and unconscious. What's the second reason? Reason number two, translation feels safe and comfortable. When you translate, you feel in control. You can check if you understood correctly. You can make sure you're not making mistakes. But when you try to think directly in English, it feels scary. What if you misunderstand something? What if your thought is wrong? What if you're missing something important?
So translation is like a safety blanket.
Perfect description. It's a safety blanket. And just like children eventually need to let go of their safety blanket to grow up, language learners eventually need to let go of translation to become fluent.
What's the third reason?
Reason number three, most learners don't get enough English input. To think in a language, you need to have that language deeply stored in your brain. You need thousands of hours of listening and reading. You need to hear phrases so many times that they become automatic. But most learners spend only a few hours per week with English. That's not enough to build the deep foundation needed for thinking in English.
So the solution involves more input.
More input is definitely part of the solution. We'll talk about that more later.
What's the fourth reason?
Reason number four, Learners often try to learn words in isolation. When you learn just single words, dog, cat, run, happy, you naturally connect them to your native language. It's word-to-word translation. But when you learn phrases and sentences, I'm running late, can I get you anything? That makes sense. You start to feel the English patterns directly. The translation becomes less necessary.
So learning chunks and phrases is important for thinking in English.
Very important. We'll do a whole section on that later.
Any other reasons?
Reason number 5, learners are often too hard on themselves. Many learners think they need to speak English perfectly before they can think in English. They believe their English thoughts must be grammatically perfect and impressive. So they stick with translation because it feels more accurate. They're afraid of making mistakes in their own head.
That's interesting. Fear of making mistakes in your own private thoughts.
It sounds strange, but it's very common. Many learners have a critical voice in their head that says, "That's wrong, that's not good English, you should know this by now." That critical voice keeps them trapped in translation mode because translation feels safer.
So breaking the translation habit requires not just new techniques, but also a new mindset.
Absolutely. You need to give yourself permission to think imperfect English thoughts. You need to accept that your English thinking will be messy and simple at first.
This is really helpful for understanding the problem. Now I think our listeners are ready to hear about solutions.
Let's do it.
Let's start talking about practical solutions. What's the first step someone should take if they want to start thinking in English?
The first step might surprise you, Sophia. It's not about grammar. It's not about vocabulary. It's about time.
Time?
Yes, time. Specifically, creating dedicated moments in your day where English is the only language in your mind.
So no native language at all during these times?
That's the goal. During your English island, you try to keep your native language completely outside. You create a protected space where English is the only language.
How long should these islands be?
At the beginning, they can be very short. Even 5 minutes is a good start. The important thing is not the length, it's the consistency and the quality.
What do you mean by quality?
I mean that during those 5 minutes, you're fully committed to English. You're not half thinking in English and half thinking in your native language. You're 100% in English mode. It's better to have 5 minutes of pure English than 30 minutes of mixed, half-translated English.
That makes sense. What are some good times for these English islands?
There are many possibilities. Let me give some examples. Morning coffee time. 10 to 15 minutes in the morning while you drink your coffee or tea. You listen to an English podcast or read an English article, and you think about it in English. Commute time. If you take a bus, train, or walk somewhere, that can be your English island. You listen to English audio and let your thoughts be in English. Exercise time. If you go to the gym or go running, you can listen to English and think in English while you exercise. Evening wind down. 15 to 20 minutes before bed, where you read in English or watch something in English. Shower time. Some people use their shower time as an English island. You talk to yourself in English while you shower.
I like the shower idea. You're alone, no one is judging you, and you have a few minutes of uninterrupted time.
Exactly. The shower is actually a perfect English island for many people. You can practice speaking out loud without feeling embarrassed.
What should people do during their English islands?
There are many activities that work well. Listening to podcasts like this one, listening to audiobooks, reading articles or books in English, watching English videos with or without subtitles, talking to yourself in English, writing in English, thinking about your day, your plans, or your feelings in English. The key is to stay fully in English mode during the entire island. If you catch yourself translating or thinking in your native language, gently bring your attention back to English.
What if someone's English level is not very high? Won't they struggle during these English islands?
They might struggle at first, and that's okay. The struggle is part of the learning process. If your English level is lower, you can use simpler content, beginner podcasts, easy readers, children's shows. Make your islands shorter, just 3 to 5 minutes. Accept that you won't understand everything. Focus on what you do understand rather than what you don't.
And the islands will get easier over time?
Absolutely. As you practice more, your brain becomes more comfortable in English mode. Your islands can become longer and longer. Eventually, you might have whole hours or even whole days that are English islands.
That sounds like the goal, to make your whole life an English island.
In a way, yes. Or at least to make English islands so natural that you can enter them anytime you want without effort.
Before we move on, can you give our listeners a specific action to take?
Sure. Here's my challenge for you listeners. Tomorrow, create one English island in your day. Choose a specific time. It can be just 10 minutes. Write it in your calendar or set an alarm on your phone. During that 10 minutes, use only English. Listen to English. Think in English. Don't allow your native language into your mind. After the 10 minutes, notice how you feel. Was it hard? Was it interesting? What did you learn? Do this for 1 week, every day. Then gradually make your islands longer.
That's a clear, actionable first step. Now let's get into specific techniques for thinking in English. What's the first technique you want to share?
The first technique is a classic, but it's a classic because it works so well. It's called labeling your world.
Tell us how it works.
The basic idea is very simple. You take small pieces of paper or sticky notes, you write English words on them, and you put them on objects around your home or workspace. For example, you write door on a sticky note and put it on your door. You write mirror on a sticky note and put it on your mirror. You write refrigerator or fridge on a sticky note and put it on your fridge. You write desk on a sticky note and put it on your desk. And so on with as many objects as you want.
So you're turning your home into an English learning environment.
Exactly. Your home becomes a place where English words are everywhere. Every time you look around, you see English.
Why does this help with thinking in English?
Because you're creating direct connections in your brain between objects and English words. When you don't use labels, your brain has this path: object, native language word, English word. But when you use labels, you're training your brain to have a shorter path: object, English word. You're skipping the native language step.
So every time you walk past the door and see the word door, you're reinforcing that direct connection?
Right. And after a few days or weeks of seeing these labels, something magical happens. When you look at the door, your brain automatically thinks door, not the word in your native language.
Did you do this yourself when you were learning?
I did. My roommate at the time thought I was crazy. My apartment looked like an art project. There were sticky notes everywhere, on the walls, on the furniture, on the appliances, even on the windows.
That's dedication.
It felt silly at first, but after about 2 weeks, I started noticing a difference. I would walk into the kitchen and my brain would automatically produce English words: sink, counter, cabinet, stove.
Let me give our listeners a practical action here. If you're listening, you can start this today. Get some sticky notes or small pieces of paper. Write English words for 10 objects in your room. Put the labels on those objects. Look at them every time you pass by. Say the words out loud.
And here's an extra tip. You can expand beyond simple nouns. You can add adjectives: heavy door, big window, cold refrigerator. Verbs: open the door, look in the mirror, close the cabinet. Sentences: I am washing my hands at the sink.
So the labels become more complex as your English improves.
Exactly. You can update your labels over time to keep challenging yourself.
What if someone doesn't want to put physical labels everywhere? Maybe they live with other people or they're worried about how it looks?
Great question. There's a mental version of this technique that works just as well. Instead of physical labels, you do mental labeling. As you walk around your house or outside anywhere, you silently name objects in English in your head. You look at the tree, tree. You look at the car, car. You look at the sky, sky. You see a bird, bird. You see a child, child.
So you're doing the same thing just in your mind instead of with sticky notes.
Right, and you can do mental labeling anywhere, on the street, in a store, at work, on the bus. No one knows you're doing it.
Can you give us a mini exercise to try right now?
Sure. Listeners, wherever you are right now, look around you. Look at 5 different objects. Name them in English in your head. Don't say the word in your native language first. Try to go directly to English. Ready? Do it now. 5 objects. English only. Good. How did that feel? Was it easy for some objects and hard for others? Did you get stuck on any? If you got stuck, that's okay. That just shows you what vocabulary you need to learn next.
This is such a simple technique, but it's surprisingly powerful.
Simple techniques often are the most powerful because they're easy to practice every day. Consistency beats complexity when it comes to building habits.
What's the next technique?
The next technique is one of my personal favorites. I call it simple sentences in your head.
Tell us about it.
Many learners have this problem. They believe that to think in English, they need to think in perfect, complex, beautiful sentences. They try to compose impressive phrases in their head. And because that's so difficult, they give up.
So they set the bar too high.
Exactly. They're trying to run before they can walk. The truth is, you can start thinking in English with extremely simple sentences, the kind of sentences a child might say. And that's not just okay, it's the right way to start.
Can you give us examples?
Of course. During your day, you can comment on your life using short, simple English sentences in your head. I am tired. I am hungry. I like this song. The bus is late. My coffee is hot. I need to check my email. The weather is nice today. I want to eat lunch soon. This book is interesting. I feel happy right now.
These are all very basic sentences.
That's the point. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're just practicing having English thoughts about everyday things.
It's like being a narrator of your own life.
I love that description. Yes, exactly. You're narrating your own movie in English.
And this narration happens inside your head?
It can be inside your head or it can be out loud if you're alone. Both are good practice.
What if you make grammatical mistakes in these internal sentences?
At the beginning, mistakes are completely fine. Actually, I would say mistakes are expected and normal. The most important thing at first is not perfect grammar, it's that the thought appears in English. You're training your brain to use English for thinking. The accuracy can improve later.
So if someone thinks, I hungry, instead of I am hungry, that's okay at this stage?
At this stage, yes. I hungry is an English thought. It's incomplete, but it's in English. That's progress. Over time, as you hear more correct English and as you become more aware of patterns, your internal sentences will naturally become more accurate.
But people can also correct themselves gently.
Absolutely. You can do gentle self-correction. I hungry. Wait, I am hungry. He go. No, he goes. I have went. Actually, I went. The key word is gentle. Don't be harsh with yourself. Don't say, I'm so stupid. I always make this mistake. Just quietly correct and move on.
Can you give our listeners an exercise to try right now?
Yes, let's do it. Listeners, I'm going to ask you 3 simple questions. Answer them in your head in English. Don't translate. Just answer directly in English. Question 1. Where are you right now? Think of your answer in English. Examples. I am in my bedroom. I am on the bus. I am at work. I am in the kitchen. Question 2. What are you doing right now? Think of your answer in English. Examples: I am listening to a podcast. I am studying English. I am relaxing. I am eating breakfast. Question 3. How do you feel right now? Think of your answer in English. Examples: I feel tired. I feel good. I feel a little stressed. I feel happy.
Good. If you answered those questions in English without first thinking in your native language, congratulations! You just practiced thinking in English.
And here's the thing. You can ask yourself these types of questions throughout your day. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you can pause and narrate. Where am I? I am at the grocery store. What am I doing? I am buying vegetables. How do I feel? I feel a little rushed, but okay.
It's like having a running commentary in English.
Exactly. And the more you practice this running commentary, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, it won't feel like an exercise anymore. It will just be how your mind works.
The next technique seems related. It's about talking to yourself in English.
Yes, this is an expansion of the previous technique. Instead of just thinking simple sentences, you actually have conversations with yourself, out loud or in your head.
Some people might think talking to yourself is strange.
I know, many people are embarrassed about talking to themselves, but the truth is, most people do it, they just don't admit it. And for language learning, talking to yourself is one of the most powerful techniques available, because you can do it anywhere, anytime, for free, without needing a partner.
Where can people do this practically?
So many places. At home, when you're alone, in the car during your commute, in the shower, while washing dishes or doing housework, while taking a walk, while exercising, in your bedroom before sleep.
Anywhere you have a few minutes of privacy.
Right. And even in public, you can do it silently in your head. No one will know.
What does self-talk actually look like? Can you give examples?
Sure. There are two main types: monologue and dialogue. A monologue is when you just talk about something. For example, you might describe your day. Okay, today was a busy day. I woke up early, around 6:30. I had a quick shower and made coffee. Then I worked on some emails. At lunch, I ate a sandwich at my desk because I was so busy. In the afternoon, I had 2 meetings. They were a bit boring, to be honest. Now I'm home and I'm tired, but I feel good because I finished a lot of work today.
That's like a mini journal spoken out loud.
Exactly. You're just describing your life in English. Simple, everyday things.
And what about dialogue?
A dialogue is when you imagine a conversation. You ask yourself questions and answer them, like you're talking to another person. For example, hey, how was your weekend? It was pretty good, thanks. On Saturday, I went to the beach with some friends. Oh, nice. How was the weather? The weather was perfect, sunny and warm, not too hot. Did you swim? Yes, I swam a little bit. The water was cold at first, but I got used to it. Sounds lovely. What did you do on Sunday? On Sunday, I just relaxed at home. I watched a movie and cooked dinner.
So you're playing both roles, the person asking and the person answering.
Right. It might feel a little silly at first, but it's incredibly good practice. You're training yourself to ask questions in English, answer questions in English, keep a conversation going in English, and think spontaneously in English.
And you can practice scenarios that might come up in real life.
Absolutely. That's a great point. You can use self-talk to prepare for real situations. A job interview. Tell me about yourself. Well, I'm a software developer with 5 years of experience. Ordering at a restaurant. What would you like today? I'll have the chicken pasta, please. Asking for directions. Excuse me, how do I get to the train station? Go straight for 2 blocks, then turn right.
You're rehearsing in English.
Exactly. Athletes visualize their performance before competitions. Language learners can do the same thing, practice conversations in their head before they happen.
What if someone runs out of things to say to themselves?
Good question. Here are some topics that never run out. Your day, what you did, what you are doing, what you will do, your feelings, how you feel and why, your opinions, what you think about news, movies, books, music, etc., your memories, stories from your past, your plans, goals and dreams for the future, current events, what's happening in the world, descriptions, describe the room you're in, the view from your window, the people around you.
That's a lot of material.
You'll never run out of things to talk about. The key is to start with simple topics and gradually tackle more complex ones as your English improves.
Let's give listeners another exercise.
Okay, listeners, at some point today, maybe after this episode ends, find a moment when you're alone. It could be in the shower, in your car, taking a walk, anywhere private. And just start talking to yourself in English. Describe your day. Talk about how you feel. Pretend you're telling a friend about your weekend. Aim for just 2 to 3 minutes at first. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be impressive. Just let the English words come out of your mouth.
That's great advice. Some people are very visual thinkers. They like pictures more than words. Is there a technique that works well for them?
Yes, absolutely. This technique is called creating English scenes in your mind.
What does that mean exactly?
It means you close your eyes, or keep them open, it's up to you, and you imagine a scene, like in a movie. Then you describe that scene in English.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's say you close your eyes and imagine you're sitting in a cafe, a beautiful, cozy cafe. Now describe what you see in English. I am in a cafe. It's a quiet afternoon. I am sitting at a small wooden table near the window. Outside, I can see the street. People are walking by. Some of them have umbrellas because it's starting to rain. On my table, there is a cup of coffee. The coffee is still hot. I can see the steam rising from it. Next to the coffee, there is a piece of chocolate cake. The cake looks delicious. The cafe is warm and comfortable. I can hear soft music playing in the background. I think it's jazz. I feel relaxed and happy.
That's beautiful, Liam. It's like mental cinema.
That's exactly what it is. Mental cinema in English. You're creating vivid pictures in your mind and describing them with English words.
Why is this effective for learning to think in English?
Several reasons. First, it exercises your vocabulary. You have to find the right words to describe what you see. Second, it uses your imagination, which makes the practice more engaging and memorable. Third, you're practicing describing things in English, which is a very useful skill. Fourth, you're thinking in English without any external pressure. No one is waiting for you to answer. No one is judging you. You can take your time.
What if someone runs out of things to say to themselves?
Good question. Here are some topics that never run out. Your day, what you did, what you are doing, what you will do, your feelings, how you feel and why, your opinions, what you think about news, movies, books, music, etc., your memories, stories from your past, your plans, goals and dreams for the future, current events, what's happening in the world, descriptions, describe the room you're in, the view from your window, the people around you.
That's a lot of material.
You'll never run out of things to talk about. The key is to start with simple topics and gradually tackle more complex ones as your English improves.
Let's give listeners another exercise.
Okay. Listeners, at some point today, maybe after this episode ends, find a moment when you're alone. It could be in the shower, in your car, taking a walk, anywhere private. And just start talking to yourself in English. Describe your day, talk about how you feel, pretend you're telling a friend about your weekend. Aim for just 2 to 3 minutes at first. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be impressive. Just let the English words come out of your mouth.
That's great advice. Some people are very visual thinkers. They like pictures more than words. Is there a technique that works well for them?
Yes, absolutely. This technique is called creating English scenes in your mind.
What does that mean exactly?
It means you close your eyes or keep them open, it's up to you, and you imagine a scene like in a movie. Then you describe that scene in English.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's say you close your eyes and imagine you're sitting in a cafe, a beautiful, cozy cafe. Now, describe what you see in English. I am in a cafe. It's a quiet afternoon. I am sitting at a small wooden table near the window. Outside, I can see the street. People are walking by. Some of them have umbrellas because it's starting to rain. On my table, there is a cup of coffee. The coffee is still hot. I can see the steam rising from it. Next to the coffee, there is a piece of chocolate cake. The cake looks delicious. The cafe is warm and comfortable. I can hear soft music playing in the background. I think it's jazz. I feel relaxed and happy.
That's beautiful, Liam. It's like mental cinema.
That's exactly what it is. Mental cinema in English. You're creating vivid pictures in your mind and describing them with English words.
Why is this effective for learning to think in English?
Several reasons. First, it exercises your vocabulary. You have to find the right words to describe what you see. Second, it uses your imagination, which makes the practice more engaging and memorable. Third, you're practicing describing things in English, which is a very useful and common skill. Fourth, you're thinking in English without any external pressure. No one is waiting for you to answer. No one is judging you. You can take your time.
What kind of scenes can people imagine?
Anything they want. Here are some ideas. A beach. Describe the sand, the waves, the sun, the people, what you're doing. A park. Describe the trees, the grass, the benches, the children playing. A restaurant. Describe the food, the waiters, the other customers, the atmosphere. Your dream home. Describe the rooms, the furniture, the view from the windows. A vacation destination. Describe a place you've always wanted to visit. A memory. Describe something that really happened to you. A future event. Describe something you're looking forward to.
So you can use real memories or pure imagination.
Right, both are valuable practice.
What if you don't know a word for something in your imaginary scene?
Great question. This is actually a good opportunity to practice a skill called circumlocution.
What's circumlocution?
Circumlocution means going around a word you don't know by describing it in other words. For example, let's say you're imagining a restaurant scene and you want to say waiter, but you don't know that word. You can say instead, the man who brings food to the tables, or the worker at the restaurant who takes orders, or the person who serves the customers.
So you describe the concept without using the exact word.
Exactly. This is a very important skill for real conversations too. Native speakers do this all the time when they forget a word. And in your mental scenes, it's okay to go around words you don't know. The important thing is to keep thinking in English, not to switch back to your native language.
Let's do an exercise with our listeners.
Okay. Listeners, close your eyes for a moment if you can. Or if you're doing something where you can't close your eyes, just imagine in your mind. Picture a beach. You are standing on the beach. The sun is shining. The ocean is in front of you. Now, silently in English, describe, what do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel on your skin? What are you doing? Take about 30 seconds to think in English about this scene. Good. How was that? Did English words come to you? Did you have to go around some words? That's all normal and good.
This is a lovely technique. It combines imagination with language practice.
And it's something you can do anywhere, waiting in line, lying in bed, sitting on a bus. Just create a scene and describe it.
What's the next technique?
This one is very practical. It's about using English for simple, everyday decisions.
What kind of decisions?
The small decisions we make throughout the day without really noticing them. What to eat, what to wear, what to do next, where to go. These kinds of things. Normally, we make these decisions in our native language without really thinking about it. The inner voice just uses our first language by default. But you can train yourself to make these decisions in English.
Can you give examples?
Sure, here are some scenarios. Scenario 1. Opening the refrigerator. Instead of thinking in your native language, force yourself to think in English. What should I eat? I'm kind of hungry. Let me see. I have eggs, cheese, bread, and some vegetables. Maybe I'll make a cheese omelet. That sounds good. Or maybe just a sandwich? I don't want to cook too much. Okay, sandwich it is. Scenario 2. Choosing clothes in the morning. What should I wear today? It's going to be cold outside. I need something warm. Maybe my blue sweater? No, that's in the wash. Okay, the gray one then. And I'll wear my jeans. Scenario 3. Planning your time. What do I need to do today? First, I have to finish that work project. Then I should reply to some emails. After that, maybe I'll go to the gym. Or should I go to the gym first? Actually, I have more energy in the morning. Okay, gym first, then work.
So you're having an internal debate with yourself, but in English.
Exactly. These are the kinds of thoughts we have dozens of times per day. They're usually automatic and in our native language. But if you consciously switch them to English, you're getting huge amounts of English thinking practice.
And it doesn't take any extra time because you're already having these thoughts anyway.
Right, that's the beauty of it. You're not adding anything to your day. You're just changing the language of thoughts you're already having.
What if someone's English vocabulary is limited for these kinds of everyday topics?
That's actually a great way to discover what vocabulary you need to learn. If you're trying to think about what to cook and you don't know the word for pan or frying or slice, that tells you exactly what vocabulary to study next.
So the technique also reveals your vocabulary gaps.
Yes, and once you notice a gap, you can look up the word and add it to your vocabulary. Then next time, you'll be able to think that thought in English.
Can you give listeners a challenge for this technique?
Sure, here's the challenge. Tomorrow, every time you make a simple decision, what to eat, what to wear, where to sit, what to do, try to do the thinking process in English. Start with just 3 decisions per day. That's it, just 3. Make them completely in English. If you don't know a word, try to go around it or pause and look it up. After a few days, increase to 5 decisions, then 10. Gradually, make English decision-making a normal part of your day.
That's very actionable. This next technique is about environment, right?
Yes, thinking in English is not only a mental habit, it's also influenced by your environment. What you see and hear around you affects what language your brain uses.
That makes sense. If everything around you is in your native language, your brain will naturally think in that language.
Exactly. So one powerful step is to change more of your environment to English.
What specifically can people change?
There are many things. Phone language. Change your phone settings to English. This means all your apps, notifications, menus, and buttons will be in English. Computer language. Change your computer's operating system to English. Social media. Change the language settings on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, etc. Apps. Use English versions of apps when possible. Browser. Set your web browser to English. Voice assistant. If you use Siri, Google Assistant, or Alexa, set them to English. Navigation. Use Google Maps or other navigation in English. Games. Play video games in English. TV and streaming. Watch shows and movies in English, preferably with English subtitles.
That's a lot of changes.
You don't have to do everything at once. Start with 1 or 2 changes and see how it feels. The most common first step is changing your phone language to English.
What happens when you make these changes?
At first, it feels uncomfortable. You might not recognize some words, you might click the wrong buttons, you might feel confused. But within a few days, your brain adjusts, and suddenly you're learning all kinds of everyday English words that you would never learn in a textbook.
Like what?
When I changed my phone to English, I learned words like settings, notifications, brightness, storage, update available, download, upload, airplane mode, low battery, swipe to unlock.
These are very practical words that come up all the time.
Right, and because you're using your phone every day, you're seeing these words over and over. They become completely natural.
Does this help with thinking in English?
Absolutely. When your digital world is in English, your brain receives a constant message. We live in English now. English is normal. English is everywhere. This makes it much easier for your brain to switch into English thinking mode because the environment supports it.
So what if someone struggles with English environment at first?
A few tips. First, remember you can always switch back if you really need to. It's not permanent. Second, use context clues. Even if you don't know a word, you can often guess from where it appears and what icons are nearby. Third, treat confusion as a learning opportunity. When you encounter a word you don't know, look it up. This is how you build real-world vocabulary. Fourth, be patient with yourself. The uncomfort is temporary. The benefits are long-term.
That's encouraging. Let's give listeners an action step.
Okay, here's the challenge. Today or tomorrow, change one thing in your environment to English. Just one thing. The easiest is usually your phone. Go to Settings, find Language, and change it to English. Live with it for 1 week. Notice what new words you learn. Notice how your brain starts to accept English as normal. If phone language feels too hard, start smaller. Change one app to English, or change YouTube to English. Any small change helps.
Great advice. This next technique is about dictionaries?
Yes, specifically about how you learn new vocabulary. This can make a big difference for thinking in English.
Tell us about it.
Many learners use bilingual dictionaries. They look up an English word and get a translation in their native language. For example, beautiful equals word in native language. Explain equals word in native language. This is fine at the beginning, but if your goal is to think in English, you should gradually move toward English to English definitions.
What does that mean exactly?
It means you use a dictionary that explains English words using simpler English words. For example, beautiful, very nice to look at, giving pleasure to the senses. Explain, to make something clear or easy to understand by describing it in more detail.
So you stay completely within English.
Exactly. You're not jumping out to your native language and back. You're staying inside the English world.
Why does this help with thinking in English?
Because when you learn words through English definitions, those words become connected to other English words in your brain, not to native language words. Let me give you an analogy. Imagine your brain is like a city. Each word is a building, and the connections between words are like roads. When you learn vocabulary through translation, you're building roads that go outside the city to your native language and back. That's a long journey. But when you learn vocabulary through English definitions, you're building roads inside the city, connecting English words to other English words. Everything stays connected within English.
That's a great analogy. The more roads you have inside the English city, the easier it is to move around without leaving.
Exactly. And when you think in English, you're basically driving around that city. You want lots of internal roads, not roads that go outside.
What dictionaries do you recommend for English to English definitions?
There are several good learners' dictionaries designed for this. Cambridge Learner's Dictionary, Oxford Learner's Dictionary, Longman Dictionary of Contemporary English, Merriam-Webster Learner's Dictionary. These dictionaries use simple, clear English to explain words. They also give example sentences, which is really helpful.
Can you give us an example of how to use this in practice?
Sure. Let's say you encounter the word commute and you want to learn it. Instead of just looking up the translation, you find an English definition. Commute, to travel regularly to and from work. Then you might say the definition in your own simple words. Commute means to go from home to work and back, every day. Then you connect it to your own life. My commute takes about 30 minutes by bus. I commute every weekday. Now the word is embedded in English, connected to other English words and to your own experience.
That's a deeper way of learning vocabulary.
It takes more time per word, but the words stick much better, and they become part of your English thinking system, not just translations stored separately.
What if the English definition is too difficult to understand?
That happens sometimes. A few things you can do. Look for a simpler definition in a different dictionary. Break the definition into parts and understand each part. Look at the example sentences. Sometimes these are clearer than the definition itself. If you really can't understand, it's okay to check the translation, but then try to go back and understand the English definition too.
Good advice. Let's give listeners a task.
Here's the challenge. The next time you encounter a new English word, don't just translate it. Look it up in an English-to-English dictionary. Read the definition, read the example sentences. Then create your own sentence using the word. Say it out loud. This will take a few extra minutes per word, but you're building deeper English connections in your brain.
This next technique is really powerful. It's called shadowing.
Yes, shadowing is one of my favorite techniques for developing natural English thinking and speaking.
Explain how it works.
The basic idea is simple. You listen to someone speaking English, a podcast, an audiobook, a video, and you try to speak at the same time, copying exactly what they say. You follow them like a shadow. That's why it's called shadowing.
So you're speaking at the same time as the audio?
Yes, or as close to the same time as possible. At first, you might be a little bit behind, but as you practice, you get closer and closer to speaking simultaneously.
What makes this effective for thinking in English?
Several things. First, when you shadow, there is no time to translate. You have to produce English at the speed of the audio. Your brain can't do the translation detour. It has to work directly in English.
So you're forced to bypass translation.
Exactly. Your brain is forced into English-only mode. Second, you're not just copying words, you're copying rhythm, intonation, stress, and emotion. You're absorbing how English really sounds and feels. Third, you're temporarily borrowing the native speaker's brain. You're thinking their thoughts in their words at their speed. This gives your brain a model of what natural English thinking feels like.
How should someone start practicing shadowing?
Start with material that is at your level or slightly below. If the audio is too fast or too difficult, you won't be able to keep up. Good starting materials include slow-paced podcasts for learners, like this one, audiobooks for children or young adults, TED Talks with clear speakers, news broadcasts with slower delivery.
And what's the actual practice routine?
Here's a simple routine. Step 1, choose a short audio clip, maybe 30 seconds to 1 minute. Step 2, listen to it once just to understand the general meaning. Step 3, play it again and try to shadow, copy as closely as you can. Step 4, repeat Step 3 several times. Each time, try to get closer to the original in terms of words, rhythm, and intonation. Step 5, optional, record yourself and compare to the original.
How long should someone practice shadowing each day?
Even 5 to 10 minutes per day can make a big difference. The key is consistency. It's better to do 5 minutes every day than 30 minutes once a week.
What if someone struggles to keep up with the audio?
A few options. Slow down the audio. Many podcast apps and YouTube allow you to reduce the speed to 0.75x or even 0.5x. Choose easier material. If a podcast is too hard, find something simpler. Shadow just fragments. Instead of the whole sentence, just shadow the last part, like really important for learning. You, really important for learning. Don't worry about perfection. It's okay if you miss some words. The effort itself is valuable.
Can you give our listeners a mini shadowing exercise right now?
Sure. Listeners, I'm going to say 2 sentences. After each one, I'll pause and you try to repeat it, copying my words, rhythm, and intonation. Ready? Here's the first sentence. Thinking in English is a skill that you can develop with practice. Pause. Now you try. Here's the second sentence. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel. Pause. Now you try. Good. That was shadowing. If you do this regularly with podcasts, videos, or audiobooks, you'll notice your English speaking and thinking improving significantly.
I love this technique. It feels like you're putting on the native speaker's brain for a few minutes.
That's a great way to describe it. And over time, you don't need to borrow anymore. You develop your own natural English instincts.
This technique is about how we learn vocabulary, specifically learning chunks instead of individual words.
Yes, this is crucial for thinking in English naturally.
What are chunks exactly?
Chunks are groups of words that frequently go together. Native speakers don't think word by word, they think in chunks. For example, take a shower, not make a shower. Make a mistake, not do a mistake. Get dressed, not put on dressed. Catch a bus, not take a bus in American English, though British English uses take.
So there are specific combinations that sound natural.
Right. And here's the thing. If you learn words individually, you have to assemble them into sentences every time you speak. That's slow and often produces unnatural combinations. But if you learn chunks, you have ready-made pieces that you can plug into your speech directly. Much faster, much more natural.
Can you give more examples of useful chunks?
Absolutely. Here are some common categories. Time expressions. At the end of the day. In the long run. Sooner or later. For the time being. Opinion expressions. I think that. In my opinion. To be honest. As far as I know. Conversation phrases. What do you mean? Can you say that again? That sounds interesting. I see what you mean. Transitional phrases. On the other hand, first of all, in addition to that, as a result, feeling expressions. I'm looking forward to. I can't wait to. I'm sick and tired of. I'm kind of nervous about.
These are phrases that come up again and again in real English.
Exactly. And if you know these as chunks, you don't have to think about them word by word. They're like Lego blocks. You just grab the whole piece and use it.
How should someone collect and learn chunks?
Here's my recommended process. Step 1. Notice chunks as you read and listen. When you're consuming English content, pay attention to phrases that seem to go together. When you hear something that sounds natural and useful, write it down. Step 2. Keep a chunk notebook or app. Have a dedicated place where you collect these phrases. Write the chunk and an example sentence. Step 3. Review and use your chunks. Go through your collection regularly. Try to use new chunks in your self-talk, writing, or conversations. Step 4. Practice chunks with spaced repetition. Use apps like Anki or Quizlet to review your chunks over time.
Can you show us how this works with a specific chunk?
Sure. Let's say you read an article and you encounter the phrase, as a matter of fact. You notice that this phrase is used to emphasize something or introduce a surprising truth. So you write in your notebook, chunk, as a matter of fact, meaning used to emphasize something, especially to correct a wrong impression. Example from article, I don't usually like coffee, but as a matter of fact, this cafe makes excellent espresso. Then later, in your self-talk or writing, you consciously use the chunk. I thought I would hate the movie, but as a matter of fact, I really enjoyed it. People think I'm bad at cooking, but as a matter of fact, I make pretty good pasta.
So you're not just learning the chunk, you're using it actively.
Right. Learning a chunk is only half the battle. Using it is what makes it stick and become automatic.
What are some good sources for finding useful chunks?
Some great sources: podcasts for English learners, movies and TV shows with English subtitles, books, especially dialogue-heavy novels, news articles and magazines, song lyrics, social media posts by native speakers. Basically, any authentic English content will be full of chunks. You just need to train your eyes and ears to notice them.
Let's give listeners a task.
Here's the challenge. Start a chunk notebook today. It can be a physical notebook, a note on your phone, or a Google Doc. For the next week, try to collect at least 3 new chunks per day. Write the chunk, the meaning, and an example sentence. At the end of the week, try to use at least 5 of your collected chunks in your self-talk or writing. This small habit can dramatically improve how naturally you think and speak in English.
Excellent advice. This last technique is really about mindset, right?
Yes, we've talked a lot about practical techniques, but there's a mental barrier that stops many learners from thinking in English, and that barrier is perfectionism.
Tell us more about this.
Many learners believe that their English thoughts need to be perfect. They think, if I can't form a correct, impressive sentence in my head, I shouldn't think in English at all. So they wait until their English is good enough. But here's the problem: it's never good enough. There's always more to learn. And while they're waiting, they never practice thinking in English.
So perfectionism becomes an excuse not to practice.
Exactly, it's a trap.
What's the alternative mindset?
The alternative is to accept imperfect English thoughts, to give yourself permission to think messy, simple, sometimes wrong English in your head.
That sounds uncomfortable for some people.
It is uncomfortable at first, especially for people who are used to being good at things or who hate making mistakes. But here's the reality: you cannot think in perfect English if you never practice thinking in imperfect English first. Perfection is the destination, not the starting point.
So, can you give examples of imperfect but acceptable English thoughts?
Sure. Simple thought: I hungry. Missing verb, am. Better thought: I am hungry. Simple thought: yesterday I go to store. Wrong tense. Better thought: yesterday I went to the store. Simple thought: he don't like it. Subject-verb agreement error. Better thought: he doesn't like it. At the beginning, all of these thoughts are okay. The important thing is that they're in English. You can correct them gently over time.
So, how should learners handle the corrections?
Gentle self-correction is good. You think something, you notice it's not quite right, and you quietly fix it. I hungry. Wait, I am hungry. She go. No, she goes. I have went. Actually, I went. It's like having a kind teacher in your head, not a mean one that says, "You're so stupid, you always make this mistake." That kind of self-talk destroys motivation.
So, be kind to yourself.
Be very kind to yourself. Learning to think in a foreign language is incredibly hard. It takes courage. It takes persistence. You deserve respect for trying.
What about people who are afraid of developing bad habits by thinking in incorrect English?
I understand that fear, and there's some validity to it. You don't want to repeat the same mistakes thousands of times until they become fossilized. But here's the thing: if you're actively learning, listening to correct English, reading, noticing patterns, your thoughts will naturally improve over time. The corrections come automatically as your input increases. And the alternative, never thinking in English at all, is much worse. You can't correct thoughts you never have.
So, the message is start imperfect, improve over time.
Exactly. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. Your English thoughts will grow more accurate and more complex as you keep learning.
That's really liberating. I think many of our listeners needed to hear this.
I hope so. Give yourself permission to think in imperfect English. Your future fluent self will thank you.
Liam, we've covered 10 powerful techniques, but I think our listeners need a clear plan to put everything together.
Absolutely. Let's create a 30-day challenge that brings all these ideas together.
Good idea. Listeners, you can start this challenge any day. You don't need to wait for Monday or the first of the month. Just start with tomorrow.
Let's divide it into 4 weeks with each with specific goals. Week 1, English Islands and Labeling.
Week 1 is about creating the foundation.
Your goals for week 1 are: Goal 1, create one English island every day. Choose a specific time each day for at least 10 minutes. During this time, everything is in English. What you hear, what you read, what you think. Put this time in your calendar. Set an alarm if needed. Goal 2, label 10 to 15 objects in your room or home. Use sticky notes or mental labeling. Say the words out loud when you see them. Goal 3, at the end of each day, write 2 to 3 simple sentences about your day in English. Example, today I woke up at 7, I had coffee and toast, I listened to an English podcast.
That's a manageable starting point.
The key in week 1 is to establish habits. Don't worry about difficulty or perfection. Just make sure you do something in English every single day.
Week 2 is simple thoughts and self-talk.
In week 2, we add more internal English. Your goals for week 2 are: Goal 1, continue your English islands, try to extend them to 15 to 20 minutes if possible. Goal 2, start thinking simple sentences in your head throughout the day. Comment on your feelings. I am tired. I am excited. Comment on your environment. It's sunny today. This room is cold. Goal 3, practice mini self-dialogue once a day. Ask yourself, how was my day today? Answer with 3 to 4 simple sentences. Do this out loud if you're alone or silently if you're in public. Goal 4, change your phone language to English. If this feels too hard, start with just one app like Instagram or WhatsApp.
So week 2 is about moving English from just listening to also thinking.
Exactly. You're inviting English into your head. Week 3, shadowing and chunks.
Week 3 adds active practice.
Your goals for week 3 are: Goal 1, practice shadowing for at least 5 minutes every day. Choose a podcast, YouTube video, or audiobook. Play short clips and repeat along with the speaker. Goal 2, start your chunk notebook. Collect at least 3 new chunks every day. Write the chunk, its meaning, and an example sentence. Goal 3, use your chunks. In your self-talk or daily writing, consciously use chunks you've collected. Goal 4, continue your English Islands, self-talk, and simple thinking practice.
Week 3 sounds more intense.
It is more active, but by now, your brain should be getting more comfortable with English mode. Week 4, decisions and imagination.
Week 4 brings it all together.
Your goals for week 4 are: Goal 1, use English for simple decisions throughout the day. What should I eat? Which shirt should I wear? What should I do next? Have these internal debates in English. Goal 2, create one English scene in your mind every day. Close your eyes for 2 to 3 minutes. Imagine a place, a beach, a cafe, a forest, a city street, your dream house. Describe everything you see, hear, and feel in English. Goal 3, try English to English definitions. When you encounter a new word, look it up in an English learner's dictionary. Read the definition and example sentences. Create your own sentence using the word. Goal 4, increase your English Islands to 30 minutes or more. By now, your brain should be much more comfortable in English mode. Try to have longer periods of pure English thinking. Goal 5, reflect on your progress. At the end of week 4, write a short paragraph in English about your experience. What was easy? What was difficult? What surprised you? What will you continue doing?
That's a complete 4-week program.
And remember, this is just the beginning. After 30 days, you don't stop. You continue building on these habits. You make your English Islands longer. You add more complexity to your self-talk. You collect more chunks. You keep growing.
The goal is to make thinking in English a permanent part of your life.
Exactly. After a few months of consistent practice, you'll notice something amazing. English thoughts will start appearing automatically. You won't have to force them anymore. They'll just be there.
Sophia, I think our listeners probably have some questions and concerns. Let's address the most common ones.
Great idea. Let's do it. Question 1.
How long does it take to start thinking in English naturally?
This is probably the most common question.
And it's a fair question. Everyone wants to know the timeline. The honest answer is it depends. It depends on how much time you spend practicing every day, how much input you're getting, listening and reading, what your current level is, how consistent you are, how immersed you are in English environments.
So there's no magic number.
There's no magic number, but I can give some general guidelines. If you practice seriously, meaning at least 30 to 60 minutes of English immersion per day, plus the thinking techniques we discussed, most people start to notice changes within 4 to 8 weeks. These early changes might be small. You notice a few automatic English thoughts appearing. You translate less often. You respond a little faster in conversations. Some phrases just feel right without thinking about them.
And for more significant changes?
For more significant changes, like being able to think in English for extended periods without translation, that usually takes several months to a year of consistent practice. And for truly automatic, native-like thinking in English, that can take years. But you don't need to wait years to see benefits. The benefits start coming almost immediately.
So the message is start now, be patient, and trust the process.
Exactly. Question 2. What if I don't live in an English-speaking country?
Many of our listeners don't have the opportunity to live abroad.
That's completely fine. You don't need to live in an English-speaking country to think in English. Remember, thinking in English is an internal process. It happens in your head. You can do it anywhere in the world. The techniques we discussed, English islands, self-talk, mental scenes, decision-making in English, all of these can be done from your bedroom, your office, your bus commute, anywhere.
But isn't immersion important?
Immersion is helpful, but you can create your own immersion. That's what the change your environment technique is about. Change your phone to English, watch English shows, listen to English podcasts, read English books, follow English social media accounts, have online conversations in English. You can create a mini English-speaking country inside your daily life, even if you physically live somewhere else.
That's empowering.
It is. The internet has made it possible to immerse yourself in English from almost anywhere in the world. Use that advantage.
Question 3. Is it okay to still use my native language sometimes?
Some listeners might feel guilty about using their native language. There's absolutely no need to feel guilty. Your native language is a beautiful part of who you are. The goal is not to replace your native language with English. The goal is to add English as another language you can think in.
So it's about expanding, not replacing.
Exactly. Bilingual and multilingual people switch between languages all the time. They might think in one language for some topics and another language for other topics. That's completely normal and healthy. What we're trying to reduce is the constant translation, the back and forth that slows you down. We want you to be able to think directly in English when you need to, without going through your native language first.
Balance is key.
Balance is key. Question 4. What if my vocabulary is too small to think in English?
This concern comes up a lot, especially for beginners.
It's a valid concern, but here's the thing. You don't need a huge vocabulary to start thinking in English. Remember the simple sentences technique? You can think profound thoughts with simple words. I am happy. I want to learn. The sky is blue. I love my family. Today was good. These are all English thoughts. They're simple, but they're real.
And vocabulary grows as you practice.
Exactly. The more you think in English, the more you'll notice vocabulary gaps, and those gaps will motivate you to learn new words. It's a positive cycle. Thinking in English reveals what you need to learn. Learning makes your thinking richer. Richer thinking reveals more to learn, and so on.
So start with what you have.
Start with what you have. Don't wait until you know 10,000 words. Start now with your 500 words or 1,000 words or whatever you have. The growth will come.
Question 6. What about grammar mistakes in my thoughts?
We touched on this earlier, but let's address it more directly. Many learners worry that if they think in incorrect English, they'll develop bad habits. Here's my perspective.
The risk of thinking in incorrect English is much less than the risk of never thinking in English at all. If you never practice thinking in English, you'll never develop the skill, period. If you practice thinking in English with some mistakes, you'll develop the skill, and your mistakes will naturally decrease over time as you continue learning.
Why do the mistakes decrease over time?
Because you're not thinking in a vacuum, you're also listening to correct English, podcasts, videos, conversations, reading correct English, books, articles, social media, sometimes getting feedback from teachers or language partners, noticing patterns and self-correcting. All of this input gradually shapes your internal English to be more accurate.
So input is the correction mechanism.
Exactly. High-quality input is the best way to correct your internal English. Keep listening, keep reading, and your thoughts will naturally become more accurate.
Question 7. I tried thinking in English before, but I gave up. How do I stay motivated?
Consistency is hard for many people. It is, and I think the main reason people give up is that they expect too much too soon. They try for a few days, they don't see dramatic changes, and they conclude that it's not working. But thinking in English is like going to the gym. You don't get strong after one workout. You don't even get strong after 1 week of workouts. It takes months of consistent effort.
So what's the key to staying motivated?
A few things. First, set realistic expectations. Don't expect to think in English fluently after 2 weeks. Expect small, gradual progress. Second, celebrate small wins. Did you have one moment today where you thought in English without translating? Celebrate that. Did you learn a new chunk? Celebrate that. Small wins add up. Third, make it enjoyable. Choose English content you actually like. Watch shows you find entertaining. Listen to podcasts about topics you're interested in. Read books in genres you enjoy. If English practice feels like punishment, you won't continue. Fourth, track your progress. Keep a simple journal. Note down when you practiced, for how long, and any interesting observations. Looking back at your journal can be very motivating. Fifth, find a community. Connect with other English learners. Share your struggles and successes. Having people who understand your journey makes it easier to continue.
Those are great tips.
And one more thing, be compassionate with yourself when you miss a day or a week. Life happens. The important thing is to start again, without guilt or self-criticism.
Question 7. Should I think in British English or American English?
Interesting question. It doesn't really matter. Choose whichever you prefer or whichever you're more exposed to. If you watch a lot of American TV shows and movies, you'll naturally absorb American patterns. If you listen to British podcasts and read British books, you'll absorb British patterns. Both are perfectly valid. Both will help you think in English.
What if you mix them?
That's fine too. Many non-native English speakers have a mix of British and American features in their English. It's completely acceptable. The goal is to communicate effectively, not to perfectly imitate one specific variety. Question 8. Can I think in English even if I'm not good at speaking yet?
Some people feel they need to be good speakers first.
Actually, it works the other way around. Thinking in English can help you become a better speaker. When you practice thinking in English, you're essentially practicing speaking, just silently. You're forming sentences, choosing words, organizing ideas. All of this mental practice transfers to actual speaking. Many people find that after a period of consistent thinking practice, their speaking improves, even without more speaking practice.
So thinking is like silent speaking practice.
Exactly. It's speaking practice without the pressure of another person waiting for your response.
For listeners who really want to master thinking in English, let's share some advanced tips.
Good idea. These are for people who have been practicing for a while and want to go deeper. Advanced tip number 1. Think in English about complex topics.
What do you mean by complex topics?
At first, we recommend thinking about simple things, your day, your feelings, objects around you. But as you progress, you should challenge yourself to think about more complex topics. Your opinions on political or social issues, abstract concepts like justice, happiness, or success, explanations of how things work.
analyses of books, movies, or ideas, plans for big life decisions.
Why is this important?
Because these complex topics force you to use more advanced vocabulary and grammar. They push your English thinking to a higher level. If you only ever think simple thoughts, your English thinking will stay simple. Growth requires challenge.
Advanced tip 2, argue with yourself in English.
That sounds interesting. It's a great exercise. When you have an opinion about something, try to argue the opposite side in English. For example, your opinion, social media is bad for society. Now argue the opposite. Actually, social media has many benefits. It helps people stay connected with friends and family around the world. It gives voice to people who were previously unheard. It allows for the rapid spread of important information.
So you're practicing seeing both sides.
Right, and you're practicing using language to persuade, to reason, to build arguments. This is very sophisticated language use.
Advanced tip 3, narrate experiences as they happen.
What does this mean? As you go through interesting experiences in your life, narrate them in English in real time. For example, you're eating at a new restaurant. In your head, you're thinking, "This restaurant is beautiful. The lighting is dim and romantic. I'm looking at the menu. There are so many options. I think I'll try the seafood pasta. The waiter is coming. He seems friendly. I'll order and ask for a recommendation on wine."
So you're giving a live commentary on your own life.
Exactly. It's like being a sports commentator, but for your own experiences. This practice makes English a living part of your actual life, not just a study activity.
Advanced tip 4, dream in English.
Is this really possible? Yes, it is. And it's a sign that English is becoming deeply embedded in your brain. You can't directly control your dreams, but you can increase the chances of dreaming in English by consuming a lot of English content, especially before bed, thinking in English as you fall asleep, telling yourself, "Tonight I will dream in English." This sometimes works.
And if you dream in English, what does that mean?
It means your brain is processing English at a very deep, subconscious level. It's a great sign of progress. Not everyone will experience this, and it's not necessary for fluency, but if it happens, enjoy it. Advanced tip 5. Keep an English journal.
Writing can help with thinking?
Absolutely. Writing is like slow, careful thinking. Keep a daily journal in English. Write about your day, your thoughts, your goals, your feelings. It doesn't need to be long. Even 5 to 10 sentences per day is valuable. Writing forces you to form complete thoughts in English. It gives you time to think about word choice and grammar, and it creates a record of your progress that you can look back on.
Any tips for the journal?
A few tips. Don't use a translator while writing. Think in English and write in English even if you make mistakes. After writing, you can check a few things if you want, but don't obsess over perfection. Sometimes reread old entries. You'll be amazed at how much your English has improved. Try different types of entries: descriptions, opinions, stories, letters to yourself.
Advanced tip 6, have imaginary conversations with real people.
What does this mean? Think of a real person you admire, maybe a famous author, a business leader, a historical figure, a celebrity. Now imagine having a conversation with them in English. What would I ask them? What would they say? How would I respond?
So you're role-playing conversations in your mind.
Right, and this is powerful because you have to imagine how someone else thinks and speaks. You practice asking interesting questions. You practice understanding and responding to complex ideas. It's fun and engaging, which makes you want to practice more.
Advanced tip 7, translate experiences, not words.
I'm not sure I understand this one. Let me explain. Many learners think of translation as going from native language words to English words, word for word. But a more advanced approach is to translate experiences. You take an experience or a feeling and you express it in English, not by translating words, but by finding how English expresses that experience.
For example, in your native language, you might have a saying or expression that doesn't translate word for word into English. Instead of trying to translate the words, ask, what would an English speaker say in this situation?
So you're thinking about meaning and context, not just words.
Exactly. This is a more native-like way of using language. You're not mapping words, you're expressing ideas in the way each language naturally expresses them.
Advanced tip 8. Accept that some thoughts work better in different languages.
This is interesting. Yes, as you become truly bilingual or multilingual, you'll notice that some thoughts feel more natural in one language than another. Maybe your native language has a perfect word for a certain emotion, and English doesn't have an exact equivalent. Maybe English has a phrase that perfectly captures an idea, and your native language requires a long explanation. This is normal. Different languages have different strengths. Embrace this.
So it's okay to sometimes think in your native language?
Yes, the goal is not to completely eliminate your native language. The goal is to be able to think in either language as needed, without one being dependent on the other.
So, Liam, we've talked a lot about techniques for thinking in English, but I want to emphasize something we mentioned earlier, the role of input.
Yes, this is crucial. Let me be very clear about something. You cannot think in English with language you don't have.
What do you mean?
I mean that thinking in English requires having English inside your brain first. You need vocabulary, you need phrases, you need patterns. You need to have heard and read enough English that it's stored in your memory.
So, input comes first.
Input comes first, or at least it has to happen alongside output practice. If you try to think in English but you haven't been listening and reading in English regularly, you'll run out of things to think with. Your thoughts will be limited to the few words and phrases you know.
How much input do people need?
The more the better. Seriously. Many successful language learners talk about getting thousands of hours of input. That might sound like a lot, but over years it adds up. If you listen to English podcasts for 30 minutes a day, that's about 180 hours per year. If you watch English shows for an hour a day, that's 365 hours per year. If you read in English for 20 minutes a day, that's another 120 plus hours per year. These numbers add up quickly.
What kind of input is best?
Input that is comprehensible, you should understand most of it, at least 70 to 80%. If you understand almost nothing, it's too difficult. Interesting, you should enjoy it. If it's boring, you won't continue. Varied, different topics, different speakers, different formats. This exposes you to more vocabulary and styles. Repeated, listening to the same content multiple times is very valuable. Each time you notice more.
So, listen to things you enjoy and listen often.
Exactly. Find English content you love and consume lots of it. The thinking ability will grow naturally from this foundation.
We should acknowledge that the journey won't always be smooth.
Absolutely. There will be setbacks. There will be frustration. Let's talk about how to handle them. Setback number 1. Days when you can't think in English at all.
Some days it just doesn't work.
Right. You try to think in English and your brain just keeps going back to your native language. Every thought feels like a struggle. This is normal. It happens to everyone. What to do? Don't force it too hard. Maybe your brain is tired. Maybe you're stressed. Maybe you didn't sleep well. Just do what you can that day, even if it's just 5 minutes, and try again tomorrow. Setback 2. Feeling like you're not improving.
The dreaded plateau.
Yes, sometimes you feel like you've been practicing for weeks or months, but nothing is changing. This is often an illusion. Progress in language learning is not linear. It happens in waves. Sometimes you improve quickly. Sometimes you seem to stagnate. What to do? Look back at where you were a few months ago. Compare honestly. You'll often find that you've improved more than you realized. Also, trust the process. Keep practicing and the breakthroughs will come. Setback 3. Comparing yourself to others.
This one is painful.
Very painful. You see someone who started learning English after you and they're already speaking fluently. Or you see someone your age who thinks in English effortlessly. This comparison is poison for your motivation. What to do? Remember that everyone's journey is different. Different starting points, different amounts of time available, different natural aptitudes, different learning methods. The only fair comparison is you today versus you yesterday. Focus on your own progress. Setback 4. Embarrassing mistakes.
We all make them.
We do, and sometimes they're embarrassing. You say something completely wrong in a conversation. You realized your thought was grammatically terrible. You mix up words in a funny way. What to do? Laugh about it. Seriously. Mistakes are part of learning. Every fluent speaker made thousands of mistakes on their journey. Your mistakes are not failures, they're steps forward. Setback 5. Running out of motivation.
Motivation doesn't last forever.
It doesn't. Initial motivation fades. Life gets busy. Other priorities emerge. What to do? Don't rely only on motivation. Build habits. Make English practice automatic, like brushing your teeth. You don't brush your teeth because you're motivated. You do it because it's a habit. Also, remind yourself regularly why you're learning English. What will it enable you to do? What opportunities will it open? Keep your why clear.
Let's share some inspiration for our listeners.
Good idea. Let me tell you about some learners I've known who transformed their English thinking ability. Story 1. Maria from Brazil. Maria was a nurse who wanted to work in international health organizations. Her English was okay for reading medical papers, but she couldn't think or speak quickly. She started practicing thinking in English during her commute, about 40 minutes each way. She would describe her day, imagine patient conversations, and plan her schedule, all in English. After about 3 months, she noticed she was starting to think in English automatically at work, especially when dealing with English documents. After 6 months, she passed an international English interview and got her dream job.
The commute practice made the difference.
Consistent daily practice during time she was already spending made the difference. Story 2. Kenji from Japan. Kenji was an engineer who had studied English for 15 years in school, but could barely speak. Classic case of, I know grammar, but I can't use it. He started shadowing podcast episodes for 10 minutes every morning. He also began narrating his work processes in English. Now I am opening the software. I need to check the data. This number looks wrong. After about 4 months, his speaking speed doubled. His thinking became much more fluid. His coworkers started commenting on how much his English had improved.
Technical self-talk helped him.
Because it was relevant to his life. He was using English for things he actually cared about. Story 3. Fatima from Egypt. Fatima was a university student who wanted to study abroad. She could write English essays, but speaking was terrifying. She started having imaginary dialogues in her head every day. She would pretend she was being interviewed, or that she was explaining her research, or that she was making friends at a foreign university. She also changed all her devices to English and started following English-speaking influencers on social media. After about 6 months, she went for her study abroad interview and felt like she was having a normal conversation, not a translation exercise. She got accepted and now studies in Canada.
The imaginary practice prepared her for real situations.
Exactly. When the real situations came, she had already practiced them dozens of times in her mind. Sophia, let's paint a picture for our listeners. What does life look like when you can think in English naturally? It's transformative. Let me describe it. You wake up in the morning, and as you plan your day, some of those thoughts are in English, naturally, without forcing. You commute to work or school, and you're listening to an English podcast. Your mind responds to the content in English. You agree, disagree, wonder, question, all in English. You have a conversation with an English speaker, and there's no translation lag. You understand their words directly, and your responses form quickly. The conversation flows. You read an English article or book, and you're not translating it into your native language. You're just reading, understanding, reacting in English. You dream at night, and sometimes those dreams are in English. When you wake up, the English words are still there.
That sounds like freedom.
It is freedom. Freedom from the translation chain. Freedom to participate in English conversations without exhaustion. Freedom to access the enormous world of English content directly. And here's the beautiful thing. This isn't a fantasy. This is achievable. Not overnight, but with consistent practice over months and years.
Our listeners can get there.
Every single one of them can get there. It takes time, it takes effort, but it's absolutely possible. Sophia, before we close, let's do one final exercise together.
Yes, let's give our listeners something to take with them.
Here's the exercise. Starting tomorrow morning, when you first wake up, before you check your phone, before you talk to anyone, have one English thought. It can be simple. Good morning. Today is going to be a good day. I feel tired, but I will try my best. What do I need to do today? Just one thought, in English, before anything else.
This creates a powerful pattern. You're starting your day in English. You're telling your brain, English is a language I think in.
Do this every morning for a week, then extend it. 2 thoughts, then 3, then a minute of English thinking before you get out of bed.
Small beginnings lead to big changes.
Sophia, we've covered so much today. Any final words for our listeners? Yes, dear listeners, thank you for staying with us through this long episode. The fact that you listened until now shows that you're serious about improving your English. I want to leave you with this thought. Thinking in English is not about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about being in the moment in English without the constant detour through your native language. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need special talent. You just need practice, patience, and persistence. Start small. Start today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Your English thoughts are waiting to be born. Give them permission to exist.
That's beautiful, Liam. And I want to add, you're not alone on this journey. Thousands of learners around the world are going through the same process. We're all learning together.
Come back to this episode whenever you need motivation. Practice the techniques. Join the 30-day challenge. And most importantly, believe in yourself. You can do this.
You absolutely can.
Thank you for listening to this episode of VOXLY English.
If you found this helpful, please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share it with someone who's also learning English.
Leave a comment telling us which technique you're going to try first. We read every comment and we love hearing from you.
Check out our other episodes on topics like talking about your day and building confidence in English.
And remember our motto.
Sophia, don't just study English,
Live in English.
even if it's only a few minutes every day.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, and good luck with your English thinking journey. Now let me give you a quick reference guide. For listeners who want a summary to refer back to, here are the key techniques. Here are 10 techniques for thinking in English. Create English islands, dedicated times where only English is allowed in your mind. Label your world. Use sticky notes or mental labeling to connect objects directly to English words. Simple sentences in your head. Narrate your life with basic English sentences. Talk to yourself in English. Have monologues and dialogues with yourself. Create English scenes in your mind. Imagine vivid scenes and describe them in English. Use English for simple decisions. Make everyday choices in English. Change your environment to English. Switch your devices and media to English. Use English to English definitions. Learn new words through English explanations. Shadowing. Speak along with native speakers to borrow their patterns. Build chunks, not just words. Learn phrases that go together naturally. Bonus technique. Accept imperfect English in your mind. Give yourself permission to think imperfect thoughts. Here is a quick summary of the 30-day challenge. Week 1. Create daily English islands and label objects. Week 2. Add simple thoughts and self-talk throughout the day. Week 3. Practice shadowing and start collecting chunks. Week 4. Use English for decisions and imagination exercises. These are the key mindset shifts to remember. Translation is a bridge, not a home. Cross it and move on. Imperfect practice beats perfect avoidance. Consistency beats intensity. Daily practice wins. Input fuels output. Listen and read a lot. Be kind to yourself. Learning is a process. If you're very busy, here is a simple daily minimum practice. If you're short on time, do at least 5 minutes of English Island, listening or reading, 10 English thoughts throughout the day, 1 minute of self-talk, out loud or silent. This takes only about 10 to 15 minutes, but keeps the habit alive. Now, let me share more practice scenarios you can use. For listeners who want more practice material, here are some extra scenarios for self-talk and mental practice. Morning routine narration. Okay, the alarm is ringing. Time to wake up. I don't want to get up, but I have to. Let me stretch a little. That feels good. Now I need to check the time. It's 7:15. I have about an hour before I need to leave. First, I'll take a shower. Then I'll have breakfast. What should I eat? Maybe eggs and toast? Or maybe just cereal because it's faster. I'll decide after the shower. The water's warm. This feels nice. I'm starting to wake up now. What do I have to do today? I have a meeting at 10. I need to prepare some documents. I should also email my colleague about the project. Okay, let me finish the shower and start my day. Work or study narration. I'm at my desk now. Let me organize my tasks for today. First, I need to finish the report. That will probably take about 2 hours. Then I have to review the presentation. I'm a little nervous about the meeting tomorrow, but I think I'm prepared. Let me focus on one thing at a time. First, the report. Where did I stop yesterday? Here. I was analyzing the data. This number seems too high. Let me check it again. Yes, I think there's an error here. I'll fix it. Good. Now I can continue with the next section. Shopping narration. I'm at the supermarket. What do I need to buy? Let me think. I need vegetables, tomatoes, onions, maybe some peppers. I also need fruit. Bananas look good today, and apples. For the refrigerator, I need milk and eggs, maybe cheese too, and bread. Should I get whole wheat or white bread? I usually get whole wheat because it's healthier, but the white bread looks fresh today. Okay, I'll get whole wheat anyway. Let me check my list. Did I forget anything? Oh, I need coffee. That's important. I almost forgot. Cooking narration. I'm going to make pasta for dinner. First, I need to boil water. Let me get the big pot. I'll fill it with water and put it on the stove. Now, while the water is heating, I'll prepare the sauce. I need to chop the onions. Where's my knife? Here it is. I'm cutting the onion now. Oh, my eyes are starting to water. I hate that. Okay, now the tomatoes. I'll dice them into small pieces. The water is starting to boil. I'll add some salt. Now I'll put the pasta in. It takes about 10 minutes to cook. In the meantime, I'll cook the sauce. I'm heating some oil in the pan. Adding the onions. They're sizzling. Smells good. Now the tomatoes. I'll add some salt and pepper. Maybe a little basil too. Perfect. Exercise narration. I'm at the gym. Let me start with some warm-up. I'll do 5 minutes on the treadmill. Not too fast, just to get my blood flowing. Okay, that feels good. Now some stretching. I need to stretch my legs and back especially. All right, now for the main workout. I'll start with squats. Let me get the weights. These are 15 kilograms. Is that too heavy? Let me try. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I can do this. 4, 5. My legs are feeling it. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Let me rest for a minute. Now the next set. Evening reflection. It's the end of the day. Let me think about what happened today. This morning was busy. I had that meeting and it went better than I expected. My boss liked my ideas. That made me happy. In the afternoon, I had some problems with my computer. It was frustrating, but I figured it out eventually. For dinner, I tried a new recipe. It was okay, not amazing. Maybe I'll add more spices next time. Now I'm tired. I should go to sleep soon. But first, let me read a little. Where's my book? I think I left it in the living room. Let me get it. Tomorrow I have a busy day too, but I'll worry about that tomorrow. For now, let me relax. For listeners who want more practice material, here are some extra scenarios for self-talk and mental practice. Conversation 1. Meeting a new colleague. You. Hi, I don't think we've met. I'm your name. I work in the marketing department. Colleague. Nice to meet you. I'm Sarah. I just started last week. I'm in the design team. You. Welcome to the company. How are you finding it so far? Colleague. It's been a bit overwhelming, honestly. There's so much to learn. You. I understand. I felt the same way when I started, but you'll get used to it quickly. Everyone here is really helpful. Colleague. That's good to hear. Do you know where I can get a good coffee around here? You. There's a great cafe just around the corner. It's called Blue Bean. Their cappuccino is amazing. Colleague. Sounds perfect. Maybe we could go there sometime? You. Sure, I'd like that. How about tomorrow during lunch break? Colleague. That works for me. See you then. Conversation 2. At a restaurant. Waiter. Good evening. Are you ready to order? You. Almost. Can I ask a question about the menu? Waiter. Of course. You. What's in the house special pasta? Waiter. It has shrimp, garlic, cherry tomatoes, and a white wine sauce. It's one of our most popular dishes. You. That sounds delicious. I'll have that, please. Waiter. Excellent choice. And for your drink? You. I'll have a glass of white wine, please. Whatever you recommend. Waiter. I'd suggest our Pinot Grigio. It goes very well with the pasta. You. Perfect. And could I also have some water? Waiter. Still or sparkling? You. Still, please. Waiter. I'll bring that right away. Conversation 3. Discussing a movie. Friend. Did you watch that new movie everyone's talking about? You. Yes, I saw it last weekend. I had mixed feelings about it. Friend. Really? I loved it. What didn't you like? You. Well, the visuals were stunning. The cinematography was beautiful, but I felt like the story was too slow. Friend. I can see that. It does take time to build up, but I thought the ending was worth it. You. The ending was good, I agree. The twist was unexpected. Friend. Right? I didn't see it coming at all. You. What about the acting? Did you think the main actor did a good job? Friend. Honestly, I thought she was amazing, especially in the emotional scenes. You. Yeah, she's very talented. I heard she might be nominated for an award. Conversation 4. At the doctor's office. Doctor. Hello, what seems to be the problem today? You. I've been having headaches for about a week. They usually happen in the afternoon. Doctor. I see. Can you describe the pain? Is it sharp or dull? You. It's more of a dull pain. It feels like pressure on both sides of my head. Doctor. Are you experiencing any other symptoms? Nausea? Sensitivity to light? You. No nausea, but bright lights do make it worse. Doctor. How much water do you drink each day? You. Probably about 3 or 4 glasses, maybe not enough. Doctor. That could be part of the problem. Dehydration is a common cause of headaches. I recommend drinking at least 8 glasses of water a day. You. I'll try to do that. Is there anything else I should do? Doctor. Make sure you're getting enough sleep and taking breaks from screens. If the headaches continue after a week, come back and see me. Conversation 5. Job interview. Interviewer. Tell me about yourself. You. Well, I graduated from university 3 years ago with a degree in computer science. Since then, I've been working at a software company where I've been part of the development team. I've worked on several mobile applications, and I really enjoy problem solving and working in a team. Interviewer. What interests you about this position? You. I'm excited about the opportunity to work on larger scale projects. Your company is known for innovative solutions, and I want to be part of that. I also think my skills would be a good match for what you're looking for. Interviewer. What would you say is your greatest strength? You. I'm very organized and I manage my time well. I can handle multiple tasks without losing focus on the details. My previous manager often gave me complex projects because he knew I would deliver them on time. Interviewer. And what about a weakness? You. Sometimes I take on too much because I want to help my teammates. I'm learning to set better boundaries and to ask for help when I need it. Now let's practice thinking in English about more abstract topics. Topic 1. What is success? I used to think success meant having a lot of money and a big house. But as I get older, my definition is changing. Now I think success is more about balance. It's about having work that I find meaningful. It's about having good relationships with family and friends. It's about having time for hobbies and rest. Money is important, but it's not everything. I know people who are very rich but very unhappy. And I know people who don't have much money but seem very content. So maybe success is about finding what makes you fulfilled and building a life around that. It's different for everyone. Topic 2. Is technology making us more or less connected? This is a complicated question. On one hand, technology helps us stay in touch with people far away. I can video call my friend in another country. I can send messages instantly. I can share photos and experiences. In this way, technology connects us. But on the other hand, I sometimes feel like we're less connected to the people around us. At dinner, everyone is looking at their phones. On the bus, nobody talks anymore. We're connected to people far away, but disconnected from people right next to us. Maybe the answer is that technology is a tool, and it depends on how we use it. We need to be more intentional about putting our phones down and having real conversations. Topic 3. What makes a good leader? I think a good leader needs several qualities. First, they need to listen. A leader who only talks and never listens will miss important information and will not earn respect. Second, a good leader takes responsibility. When things go wrong, they don't blame others, they look for solutions. Third, a good leader helps others grow. They don't feel threatened by talented people, they encourage them. Fourth, a good leader has integrity. They do what they say they will do. They're honest even when it's difficult. Finally, a good leader can make tough decisions. They don't avoid problems, they face them directly. I've had bosses who had some of these qualities, but not others. The best leaders I've known had all of them. Topic 5. Should education change? I think traditional education needs to change. The world is very different from when our education systems were designed. We have the internet now. Information is everywhere, so maybe we don't need to memorize as many facts. Instead, we should focus on skills like critical thinking, creativity, and collaboration. We also need to teach practical things like how to manage money, how to take care of mental health, and how to communicate effectively. Another change I would make is to give students more choice in what they learn. Not everyone needs to study the same things. We should help students discover their strengths and interests earlier. Topic 5. The meaning of happiness. What is happiness? I've thought about this a lot. I used to chase happiness like it was a destination. I thought if I got a certain job or bought a certain thing, then I would be happy. But that's not how it works. Happiness is not a place you arrive at. It's more like a state you return to. And it's built from small things: a good conversation, a beautiful sunset, finishing a project you're proud of, helping someone. I think happiness is connected to gratitude. When you appreciate what you have, you feel happier. When you're always wanting more, you never feel satisfied. So for me, happiness is about being present, being grateful, and doing things that matter to me. Here is an example of narrating an entire day in English. You can use it as a model for your own practice. 6:30 a.m. The alarm is going off. It's still dark outside. I don't want to get up, but I know I should. Let me just lie here for 1 more minute. Okay, 1 minute is over. Time to get up. I'm sitting on the edge of the bed now. My feet are touching the cold floor. I need to turn on the light. Ah, it's bright. My eyes need a moment to adjust. I'm walking to the bathroom. I'll wash my face and brush my teeth. The water feels good. I'm starting to wake up now. 7 a.m. Time for breakfast. What should I eat? I'm not very hungry, but I should eat something. I'll make coffee first. The coffee machine is making those nice sounds. I love the smell of fresh coffee. While it's brewing, I'll make some toast. 2 slices, with butter and jam. The coffee's ready. Let me pour it into my favorite mug. I'll take my breakfast to the table. I like to look at the window while I eat. The sky is getting lighter. Today looks like it's going to be a nice day. 7:30 a.m. I need to get ready. What should I wear today? Let me check the weather. It says it's going to be warm, about 25 degrees. Okay, I'll wear something light. Maybe my blue shirt and these gray pants. That looks good together. Now I need to find my keys. Where did I put them? They're not on the table. They're not in my bag. Oh, there they are, in my jacket pocket from yesterday. I should always put them in the same place. 8 a.m. I'm leaving the house now. The air outside feels fresh. It's going to be a good day. I can feel it. I'm walking to the bus stop. There are a few other people waiting. Nobody is talking. Everyone is looking at their phones. The bus is coming. It's my bus, number 42. I'll get on. Let me find a seat. There's one near the window. I'll sit there and look outside during the ride. 8:30 a.m. I'm arriving at work. The office is starting to fill up with people. I can hear conversations and keyboards clicking. Let me turn on my computer and check my emails. There are 15 new emails. Most of them are not important. But there's one from my boss. She wants to meet at 10 a.m. I wonder what it's about. I'll prepare for the meeting later. First, let me finish the report I was working on yesterday. 10 a.m. Time for the meeting with my boss. I'm a little nervous, but I'm trying to stay calm. I'm walking to her office now. The door is open. She's waving me in. Good morning. Please sit down. She wants to talk about a new project. It sounds interesting. She's asking if I have time to lead it. Of course I do. This is a great opportunity. I'm excited, but I'm trying not to show it too much. I want to seem professional. Yes, I would be very interested in leading this project. She's smiling. I think this meeting went well. 12 p.m. Lunchtime. I brought food from home today. It's leftover pasta from last night. I'll heat it in the microwave. A few colleagues are in the break room too. We're talking about the weekend. Someone went hiking, someone else went to a concert. I stayed home and read a book. Sometimes quiet weekends are the best. The pasta is warm now. It tastes even better than yesterday. That always happens with pasta. 2 p.m. I'm back at my desk. The afternoon is often harder than the morning. I feel a little tired. Maybe I need more coffee. Let me get another cup. Okay, back to work. I need to finish the report by 4 p.m. Let me focus, one section at a time. I'm typing, I'm checking data, I'm formatting tables. This is taking longer than I expected, but I'll make it. 4 p.m. Done. The report is finished. I'll send it now. Email attached, message written, send. That feels good. I have about an hour left before I can leave. Let me organize my tasks for tomorrow. I'll write a to-do list. Meeting with the design team, call with the client, start research for the new project. That's a busy day, but manageable. 5 p.m. Time to go home. I'm packing my bag, computer off, jacket on. I'm saying goodbye to my colleagues. See you tomorrow. The elevator is crowded at this time. Everyone is going home at the same time. There's the bus again. It's more crowded than this morning. I'll stand and hold the handle. At least I have my podcast to listen to. 6 p.m. I'm home now. What a day. I'm a little tired, but feeling satisfied. I did good work today. Let me change into comfortable clothes. Much better. Now, what should I do? I could watch TV, or I could go for a walk. It's still light outside. Actually, a walk sounds nice. Let me get my shoes and go to the park. 7 p.m. The walk was lovely. The park was busy with people exercising and families with children. I sat on a bench for a while and just watched. Now I'm home and I should make dinner. Something simple tonight. Maybe a salad and some grilled chicken. That sounds healthy. Let me wash the vegetables. Lettuce, cucumber, tomatoes. I'll cut them and put them in a bowl. Now for the chicken. I'll season it with salt, pepper, and some herbs. Into the pan. It's sizzling. Smells delicious. 8 p.m. Dinner is ready. I'm eating at the small table by the window. It's getting dark outside. I can see the lights coming on in other buildings. I wonder what other people are doing right now. Having dinner with their families? Watching TV? Working late? So many lives happening at the same time. This thought makes me feel both small and connected. 9 p.m. I'm relaxing on the couch now. I'm watching a documentary about ocean life. It's fascinating. Did you know that we've explored less than 5% of the ocean? There could be so many creatures down there that we don't even know about. The images are beautiful. Deep blue water, colorful fish, mysterious sea creatures. I could watch this for hours. 10 p.m. It's getting late. I should get ready for bed. Let me turn off the TV. I'll brush my teeth and wash my face. Skincare routine. Then I'll get into bed and read for a little while. I'm reading a novel right now. It's about a detective in Paris. The story is getting exciting. I want to know what happens next, but my eyes are getting heavy. I'll read just one more chapter. Okay, maybe half a chapter. I'm too tired. Let me put the book down and turn off the light. Tomorrow is another day. Good night. This concludes our extended episode, How to Think in English from VOXLY English.
Thank you for being with us. And remember, don't just study English, live in English, even if it's only a few minutes every day.